Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My friend requested me to make a HTML tutorial for him. He requested me to teach him HTML. That's why I started this series. Let's begin with what does HTML mean? HTML means Hypertext Markup Language. Hypertext is a uh, int transaction way, communication way in internet, simply sending text. It's in the name. You are simply sending text. This text can have some meanings. Markup means it has a structure like this. We are marking things up like head, like body, like divide. This stands for divide, like paragraph. We are marking things up, doc type, HTML, etc. Now let's language. It's language. Nothing to talk about that. Now start with the first line. This line indicates that we are using HTML5. Otherwise, we would be using HTML4 or anything like that. This is quite. This is not that important, but mostly people use HTML5. It gives us capability of things like section, simply a section of a paragraph. Section is a, something like paragraph, but has a different effect on paragraphs because it's a section after all. Well, in both places, this is being right and same. Well, it is not that important as I guess. Anyways, simply we are marking things up. We are marking things inside of this HTML tag. You can see those things called tags. This is a tag. This is a tag. This is end of a tag. Some tags need an end of tag. Some tags does not, like meta is a quite good example. Head tag, head tag is the tag that specifies the header. What is the header? In programming, header is a, a type of data that teaches us how to read the actual data, which is called body. What if you wonder what I mean? Let's say we have a sound file. It has length, it has a sample per second value, it has a sample size, like it can be 1 byte or 2 byte or maybe just 4 bits. So this sound file is like that, as you can understand. In a sound file, firstly there will be a header which specifies the sample per second and length of the sound, and you you name it. Simply things like that are not the, the actual sound, you know. Body is the actual sound data. Main difference is that. Also, you can see this title. It specifies the title of the page. You can see here try 1. Let's make it try 0 because actually this is my 0th try. Refresh the page. Try 0. Good. No, this section is not important. Actually, you know the HTML? It's actually not that important to know HTML for using HTML, you need to know CSS. It is more important. Stands for cascade style, cascade style coding or something like that. Simply specifies how we interact with the page. We can use CSS inside of HTML by writing this style style. Write this twice. Inside between these tags, you can write your style. Let's say div dot div. Now let's set the background color of div to color. Uh, we are putting an RGB value. Let's make it bluish cyan. Red is 0. Green is 9. Blue is F. Let's save it and reload our page. Yes, you can see it's a bluish cyan. Let's make it a D so it will be more cyanish. You can see. Now let's replace this with body. Now the whole page is cyan because we specified the body is cyan, and this is the whole body. Body is the page itself. Now let's make the here's the color. Simply specifies the color of the text. Let's make it red by F00. Yes. Now the text is red. And actually in HTML you are development, you won't use HTML that much. Most important thing is div, stands for divide. Simply enables you to divide the uh, page into sections, which helps a lot. Let's say div background color. Let's set this to green simply, and here you go. This section is green. Now most important thing in this HTML is knowing CSS and you manipulating divs in the right way. How to manipulate divs in a better way, if you ask? Simply you can use class keyword, then you are typing here a name. Let's say default. Now we can write here dot default and copy this piece of code here. Let's copy. Good. Now let's replace this with this. As you can see, it is black now because we used the class. It starts with dot and goes like that. The if you specify a divs class and if the class has a specific style, it will override the original style. And we have something called ID, which is even more important. First one, let's say it first. ID starts with this mark, then we open the and close the curly braces, and let's make this reddish by F. With let's refresh the page, and it's all red because first has more value. First is more important than default. I mean, IDs are more important than classes, which is more important than tags. Do you understand what I mean? Let's say we put the first in the first place. Let's refresh the page. It won't change anything because ID is that either the way. This is how you manipulate the divs in a more specific way. Also, we should have something like no. We have also something called style, and it is even more important than ID. Let's set the background color in here too, but this time to magenta. I guess I made something wrong. Let's crop this out and see if I texted wrong or yes, I texted wrong. Give me a second. Guys, I noticed that I typed style. I typed style here instead of style. That was the main trouble. Let's replace it and save. And let's refresh the page. And it's magenta as you can see. Style has a higher value than ID. ID has a higher value than class, and class specification has a higher value than tag specification in CSS. But what is most important is important. Important. As you can see, now it is all green because we type it here important. It has higher value than even higher than style. So let's open the list. CSS priorities. Alright, I found the picture simply. If you writing the tag name or more than one tag name or multiple tag names, it is really it has a really low value. Wait, this is really low quality. Let's open the original page. I see. Simply, no matter how many tag names you use, it is never valuable as much as a class. Good. Universal selector. This style is universal selector. Simply, if I replace this with universal selector, it will become universal selector. Let's open the original page. Now all the page is green because the important set stop it green, and it is for universal, and important has the highest value. Let's say we write it here. Important to important important important. Good. Now let's refresh our page. Looks like still this is being applied. Okay. Universal tag has the lowest value. Div has the second lowest value. I mean tag names have the lowest value, the second lowest value, like body or div, you know. And there's list, list. Simply how many tag names you use, you increase the specificness compared to div. I mean, uh, two tags is high, has a higher specific value than one tag. More than three tags has a more specific, I mean, has a higher priority than two tags, and so on. Then there's classes, universal selector and class. It doesn't change any value. You can specify the class with this or with this attribute selector and pseudo class. I don't know what those mean. I don't know what those mean. Also, if you specify the tag and class in the same time, it has a slightly higher value. Yes, exactly. Simply increasing use of classes, attributes, or pseudo classes, it increases the value, just like in the tag. This is ID. ID always has a higher value than all of the ones before. ID plus class has a slightly higher ID. ID inside of a ID, which is which means uh, let's open another. Let's put a ID here. ID equals parag. Now, if I write here parag, it will specify choose this part. This means this part only. Do you understand? Let's open the page. Yes. No, this part is red. That's why IDs always has a higher value, and style has a higher value all of the ones before, and important has the maximum value, as you can see, has the maximum priority. This is a funny example explanation of the values. Okay, this is the specificity in CSS. Now in here we are writing CSS in here, which is quite annoying. That's why people often do something called ref. This stands for hyperlink reference, but I need to find my code, not this one. This one. Alright, now let's close this up and write it here. We are writing here style sheet, and here uh, let's name it default. We are writing the default path, I mean relative path of the file. Now let's whereas or make a CSS here. Now it will automatically reach here. Let's open this with Code or Notepad. You can see. Alright, let's start writing here. Div let's set this to something like let's make this body ground. Where did the A came from? This should be more blackish, I guess. That way, 3, 4, better. Now let's remove this style. And let's refresh our page. You can see we did it. Simply we are using the style in here, which is way better than the using style in there. Now let's make a body hover. Simply we are specifying what will happen on hover. Back. I always specify the background color because it's most easy to work on. Let's set it to red simply. Now let's refresh our page, and when I hover the body, wait, let's make this div and refresh. Simply, the only content in this page is this div. That's why when I hover this place, it doesn't read as body. It means I'm not hovering any place. That's why this is hovering here is important. Now let's make the padding 10 and see what happens. Nothing haven't changed. But if we make this 10 and we can keep this as 0, every content is shifted. I mean, this content is shifted. Simply, we are setting the margin, which is the distance between uh, tags. Do you understand what I say? Also, there is a tag called br. Simply makes a line break. You can see. Let's make another div. Also remove these IDs because they are not mandatory right now. Also, this specifies that this is a paragraph, which is not that important. Also, this specifies nothing actually. It doesn't specify anything. It enables you to set a different attribute in any place but has no effect on the code. I mean, if you are not using style or class or id in this tag is quite useless, not completely. You can still write here span, but it is not that important. Now let's set the transition transition 4 seconds. It means transition time, I guess. It means that our transitions will take 5 seconds to complete. Let's refresh the page. Look, it becomes red slowly and it returns to blue slowly. It makes that. Let's make it 2. Now there is something really funny inside of this uh, CSS. It's called box shadow. I guess I wrote this wrong. No, I wrote this right. Good. Let's set offset. This is x offset. This is y offset. Simply how many pixels you will shift. Also, don't forget the right pixel here. Also, we should write pixel in here too because it's more appropriate. Then size of the uh, shadow 10 pixel is enough, and I mean 5 pixel is enough, and blur effects, let's make it 7 px. Then set the color to a blackish color. Let's 303. Now let's refresh the page. Why it didn't work? Let's make it 10. Also, let's set the margin to a higher value like 30 because 30 is a better idea. I guess I'm not good at setting it. Let's make this green. That way, if it works, we will understand it better. Refresh the page. It doesn't have the box shadow. I guess I forgot how to use box shadow. Guys, seems like I forgot that we don't use colon inside of CSS. We are simply writing it with spaces. Let's refresh the page once again. Yes, that was the trouble. And let's copy this to here and change it a little. Like set the color into a more greenish value. This gonna stay. This is gonna be 9. And we have a Qt transaction here. Look, it is so pretty. Let's set this to plain white. That way we will understand everything better. Look, it is really good now. I mean, the site doesn't contain anything, but it is really good just to hover your cursor. You can really feel this life. I mean, this super neutral look. It is really good. You can do things like this with CSS. Simply, this means on hover, and this is the transition time. Let's make something other than this on hover. Let's set the top to 50 px. It means it will go downwards when you hover. Let's replace. Wait, did I save the changes? I guess I didn't save the changes, or seems like it's since it's not absolute, we cannot change its position. Let's make it absolute position absolute. And since we are using absolute, we cannot have two of this in the same time. That's why let's remove it. Look, it moves. Look, when it goes downwards, you are not hovering it anymore. That's why it goes upwards back. But when you hover it in here, you are still hovering it. That's why it will stay here. That was funny. Let's make it linear. Alright, this is a stupid, I mean silly example, but you can make this thing too. I made a really good CSS thing. Let's open this. I need to locate it first. Go upwards, web dev entry point, styles. Alright, seems like it's not here. I made something really cool with CSS, but I cannot find it. Let's open another tab and see if this thing exists. Yes, enter. This doesn't even work. Alright. Seems like I can't find it. Thanks for watching. See you in the next video.